Welcome back to the Lancaster Bombers D page. It is a new season and we're trying to expand off of some of the concepts that we were trying to teach last year. I've been doing a lot of research lately and wanted to start talking about just some concepts that coaches can use as they start to plan kind of their team structure. And I thought I would kind of go over some D retrievals that lead into breakouts and some strategies. And the big thing that I've noticed through this 2026 playoffs is how many teams are coming back on retrievals and stacking the strong side. So basically what that means is if the puck gets dumped in here, whether we have the strong side D or the weak side D, we have D1 coming back to get a retrieval with pressure, and our D2 is stacking. So he's coming back to the same side. We're not coming to the weak side and looking to spread, but instead, a lot of teams in the playoffs this year are using the stack so that they have shorter passes with shorter support, and they're using and initiating either a net bump or a wall bump. So I'm going to kind of go over some of these ideas and strategies that teams can use and kind of incorporate into their retrieval structure for their defensemen. So big thing through the neutral zone nowadays is protecting and being tight. So we call that squeezing. So let's say puck is coming out this side. So we have our strong side D, we have our weak side D, and what we want to do is we want to shorten the gap between them. That's called a squeeze. So as they're coming back, we're coming back between the dots, and then once they enter the zone, we're looking for both D to, it's called a slide. So if I have my strong side D, I have my weak side D, and the puck is entering this way, we're both sliding this way. So we're closing off the strong side. Our F1 in the back check is responsible for coming to the weak side and picking up any play on that weak side. So what ends up happening here and why this fits into our structure of stacking our retrievals is when we have a strong side D and a weak side D that have closed the zone laterally and a puck goes in, they're already both on the strong side. We're looking to establish and teach the dot lines as a landmark that helps us with making plays and becoming predictable when we introduce our breakout principles. So let's say puck gets dumped in here. Okay, if our weak side D who slid over sees this, our weak side D is now going to be responsible to come back and get this on a retrieval. Our strong side D is now have to get back inside the dot line. So he's going to see this, we're going to release, our weak side D is going to come back, our strong side D is going to come back inside the dots. So now if I redraw this, who's now going to be our D1, so I'll draw that as D1. Our strong side D who's now come back inside the dots and is stacking. So basically what a stack means is on the same side of the ice as the puck, same side as the ice as his D partner, and in a straight line. So now what we're looking to do on these retrievals when we have pressure is we're looking for a bump. So whether we do a bump towards the net and then our secondary, our D2, picks that up and comes around the weak side, or can bump up the wall and we pick it up and then we find the centerman on support. Those are our bump options. So one thing we want to understand, and we definitely want to start teaching our defensemen, even at young ages, young as U10, is that if we bump to the corner, so let's say we get a bump here and we have our D2 pick it up and come up this way, is once we are bumped to the corner, we are no longer using this strong side winger. We are looking to use this dot as a pass to our centerman who would be coming through for support. The second we come up to the strong side, all we are doing is we're allowing their D who are coming up to pinch and close off and seal the wall. That's just going to be a turnover. So if we use a net or if we use a wall bump and our D2 picks it up, the principles and the kind of rules we want to now teach these guys is that we are not going up the strong wall, but we are now looking to use the middle. We are looking to get inside the dots with whether our feet, or we're looking to use the weak side of the ice for a weak side winger who is now maybe slashing or finding space outside. But the big thing we don't want to do is we don't want to let their D close off the wall and come back up the strong side. Other thing that we want to start to teach is the best way to break out is to always come out the weak side. So the puck is outside the dot line. What we want to do is we want to show the principle that we want that small bump towards the net. So our strong side D immediately coming back inside the dots. He's creating that good stack that we're looking for. Our centerman is tracking back to the middle of the ice because the centerman doesn't know which way we're going to have to swing. He's coming back low and slow, trying to support the play. If we use a net bump, now our strong side D will pick it up, and now we're coming out the weak side. Our centerman will come low and slow, go right through the dot, and now we have a play here, we have a play here, or we have a play to get toe caps up ice, and then the swinger pulls out, and the centerman spreads out, and now we can come across 3. So the options that this gives us all comes from defensive structure of sliding at the blue line to close off the zone. So big thing to understand is this dot line. We want to start teaching the stack to our D. We want to start teaching short support. We want to run drills that is going to have our strong side D come back on retrieval with our weak side D becoming the second layer on the stack. We want to run drills that we have our weak side D coming back on retrieval with our strong side D coming back inside the dots and supporting with a stack. But the big thing that we have to start to get away from, and I've seen this a lot at the ages of U11, U12, U13, is having a puck come to the corner and having our second D just go stand in front of the net and not supporting any sort of breakout. If we see that our D partner is going to get to that puck, we have to go into a position that we can support. And whether as coaches we choose to use a stack or we use a spread, either way, we have to put our defensemen in a position where they have support so that we can take a defensive structure play of squeezing and sliding and creating breakouts so that we can now transition and go back on offense. So more and more that I've been watching games, the more and more teams are using stack retrievals as an option and as their basic principle, using the dot lines as a principle and a guideline, that anything that is retrieved outside the dot line, we're looking to use a net bump. Anything inside, we're looking to use a corner bump. And the weak side D primarily being the guy that comes back and gets any sort of play or dump in at the blue. The other thing that we want to understand is that if our left D, who's left-handed, has to come back to the right side to pick up pucks, they have to learn how to play both sides. It's not necessarily, or there's not this rigid rule that the right D stays on the right side, the left D stays on the left side. These guys have to be able to interchange and work off of each other and support each other on both sides of the ice. This is just, I'm going to put in a drill that I found here that coaches can run that I'm going to be using for both of my teams this year. That is a D-specific drill that is just going to work on these retrieval and bump breakout principles. So this is something you can do for 5 to 7 minutes. You can do it at the beginning of every practice, and they're just getting rep after rep after rep, learning how to use the dot line as their landmarking for understanding the basic breakout principles that we are going to teach them as coaches. So pucks that get retrieved with pressure outside the dots, we can use a net bump. Pucks inside, we can use a corner bump. Our weak side D on any pucks that are inside the dot can use the net as protection. And understand that everything isn't black and white. There's so many shades of gray. The defensemen have to get early eyes on dumps in. So what early eyes means is the second this puck gets dumped, they already know if they got pressure coming this way, they have pressure coming this way, they got pressure coming through the middle, because they've used their head checks, they've used their shoulder checks, they're getting early eyes on pressure, and that's going to help them work with their partners to take a dump and retrieval and turn that into breakout principles.